He thought signing those divorce papers would bring peace, freedom from the woman who challenged his pride. But peace never came. Not until one cold night. A call shattered his perfect world. Your ex-wife, she's in the ICU, and there's a child asking for her dad. The pen that once ended his marriage now felt like a knife twisting in his chest. He rushed to the hospital, only to see her lying still beneath white lights, fragile, pale, fighting for breath. Beside her bed sat a little girl with her mother's eyes. And his face. Every heartbeat screamed the truth he'd run from, that love doesn't end with a signature. It lingers in the cries of a child, in the silence between two souls who once belonged. And now, fate had brought him back to the woman he'd let go, and the daughter he never knew. Ethan Hale was a man everyone admired, the kind of CEO people envied and feared in equal measure. Sharp suit, colder eyes. The boardrooms called him brilliant. The tabloids called him ruthless. But none of them knew the truth that behind all the power was a man running from his own heart. 3 years ago, he signed away the only thing that ever made him human, his marriage to Emma. Emma wasn't from his world. She wasn't born into money or fame. She was the woman who used to bring him coffee when he worked late nights before he became Mr. Hale. She smiled twice, forgave too quickly, and loved him far too deeply. Ethan loved her too, but he never knew how to show it. When success came, pride followed. Meetings replaced dinners, phone calls replaced laughter, and one night, silence replaced love. She had stood in front of him, tears glistening, whispering, "Ethan, I'm still here. I just want us back." But he looked away, coldly signing the divorce papers she never wanted. "You wanted freedom, didn't you?" he said. Her voice broke. "No, Ethan, I wanted you." That was the last time he saw her. For 3 years, Ethan buried himself in work, deals, awards, parties, anything to forget her face. Yet, every night, when the city went quiet, he saw her in the shadows of his office, the only thing he couldn't replace. Until one evening, his phone rang. "Is this Mr. Ethan Hale?" a woman's voice asked. "Yes, who's this?" "I'm calling from St. Mary's Hospital. Your ex-wife has been admitted to the ICU." Ethan froze. For a moment, he thought he misheard. "Emma," he whispered. "She was in a car accident. She's in critical condition, and there's a little girl with her." His breath stopped. "A girl. She says her name is Lily. She says, you're her daddy." The world tilted. The phone slipped from his hand. Within minutes, Ethan was in his car, racing through the night. His mind was chaos, regret, fear, confusion. "A daughter, my daughter." When he reached the hospital, the smell of antiseptic hit him like guilt. Nurses rushed past. Machines beeped. And there, through the ICU window, he saw her. Emma. She looked nothing like the woman he left. She was fragile, pale, her body connected to tubes and wires. The sight crushed him. "Sir," the nurse said softly, "she's stable, but unconscious. She's been asking for someone before the accident." "Your name?" Ethan's throat closed. He took a slow step forward, every regret clawing at him. Then, a small voice made him stop. "Are you my daddy?" He turned. A little girl stood there in a pink hoodie, clutching a stuffed bear. Her eyes, Emma's eyes, but her expression. His. Ethan couldn't speak. His knees went weak. "Mommy said you were away working," she said softly, "but you'd come when she needed you." Tears burned his eyes. He crouched down, trembling. "I didn't know," he whispered. Lily tilted her head. "Mommy says love never goes away. It just hides." Ethan broke. He looked at the glass between him and Emma, and for the first time in years, he didn't feel like a CEO. He felt like a man who had destroyed everything that mattered. He pressed his hand against the glass, whispering, "Please, Emma, wake up. I didn't know. I swear, I didn't know." Behind him, little Lily climbed into a chair beside him, and whispered, "She'll hear you, Daddy. She always does." And in that moment, Ethan Hale, the man who thought he'd lost everything, realized fate had given him one more chance. One that could save or destroy him forever. The hospital became Ethan's world. Days turned into nights, and nights into endless waiting. He didn't leave Emma's side, afraid that if he blinked, she might slip away again, just like she did 3 years ago. Lily stayed in the pediatric ward down the hall, her laughter sometimes echoing faintly into the ICU. Every sound she made pierced Ethan's heart, each giggle a reminder of the years he had missed, the bedtime stories he never told, the birthdays he never celebrated. He would visit her during breaks between doctor updates. "Did Mommy wake up yet?" she'd ask every morning, holding her bear tight. "Not yet, sweetheart," Ethan whispered, brushing her hair back. "But she will. She's strong." And every time he said it, he prayed it was true. He had learned from the nurse that Emma had been raising Lily alone. Working as an illustrator for children's books, living modestly in a small apartment on the edge of the city, no family nearby, no help, just her and their daughter. The nurse showed him a file, old medical forms. On them, under father's name, Emma had written, Ethan Hale. He traced the letters with trembling fingers. She'd never erased him, even after he'd erased her. That night, unable to sleep, Ethan walked into Emma's ICU room. The steady beeping of the monitor filled the silence. He pulled a chair close and took her cold hand in his. Emma, he whispered, his voice breaking. I was stupid. I thought success meant never needing anyone. But the truth is, I was just scared. Scared of how much I needed you. He leaned closer, his forehead resting against her hand. I missed the first word our daughter spoke. The first time she walked. I missed everything that mattered. Please, if you can hear me, I need one more chance. For her, for us. He stayed there for hours, whispering things he never said when it mattered. The next morning, Lily walked into the room holding a paper drawing. It was a family, a man, a woman, and a little girl holding hands. Above it, she had written in colorful letters, Mommy, Daddy, me. Ethan smiled through tears. That's beautiful, he said softly. Do you think Mommy will like it? Lily asked. She'll love it, he whispered as Lily taped the drawing beside Emma's bed. Ethan noticed something. Emma's fingers twitched. Emma, he said, standing abruptly. The monitor beeped faster. Her eyelids flickered. Slowly, painfully, she opened her eyes. Her voice was a whisper of disbelief. He froze, every emotion rushing through him at once. I'm here, he said, gripping her hand tightly. She blinked weakly, looking around. Lily, is she? She's fine, he said quickly. She's safe. She's here. Her lips quivered. You shouldn't be here, Ethan. He shook his head. You think I could stay away? Not again. Not after this. Tears rolled down her cheeks. You signed those papers like I meant nothing. I know, he said, voice trembling. And I've hated myself every day since. Lily's small voice broke the silence. Mommy. Emma turned her head. Her daughter ran toward her, arms wide, tears streaming down her cheeks. Ethan helped lift her onto the bed. And Lily clung to her mother, sobbing. I missed you, Mommy. Emma kissed her forehead, whispering, I missed you too, my love. And then her gaze shifted to Ethan, raw, conflicted, aching. You have a daughter, Ethan, she said softly. You missed 5 years of her life. I know, he said, his voice cracking. And I'll spend the rest of mine making it right. She closed her eyes briefly, overwhelmed. You don't get to just walk back in. I'm not asking for forgiveness, he replied, just the chance to be the father she deserves. Lily looked between them, confused. Are you still mad, Mommy? Emma smiled faintly, brushing her daughter's hair. No, sweet girl, sometimes people get lost, but maybe they can find their way back. For a moment, everything was quiet, the machines, the lights, the chaos outside, it all disappeared. It was just them, a broken family beginning to breathe again. That night, as Emma drifted back to sleep, Ethan sat by her side and watched his daughter sleep in a chair nearby. He whispered into the dim light, I don't know what tomorrow brings, but I swear, I'll never let go again. And for the first time in years, he felt something he'd forgotten, peace. Weeks passed. The sterile white of the hospital faded into the soft beige of recovery. Emma was stronger now, though she still carried the fragility of someone who had fought too many silent battles. Ethan came every day, not as the CEO the world feared, but as the man she once loved, and the father he was learning to become. He brought flowers, books, and sometimes just quiet company, but the real reason he came was Lily, their daughter, who had unknowingly become the bridge between two hearts that time had broken. Every evening, he'd walk her to the hospital garden. She'd chase butterflies while he watched from a bench, eyes soft, heart open. He wasn't thinking about board meetings or profits anymore. He was learning what love looked like when it wasn't about winning, just being there. Emma often watched them from her window. There was something new in Ethan, something she hadn't seen even in their happiest days. A gentleness, a humility. The walls he built with pride were slowly coming down. One afternoon, as he helped Lily draw in her coloring book, Emma said quietly, She's happy with you. Ethan looked up. She deserves to be. So did I once, Emma said, voice trembling. He set the crayons aside, meeting her eyes. I know I broke us. I thought love was something I could control, sign away when it hurt. But every day without you was like living with half a heartbeat. She looked away. Words don't fix everything. No, he said softly, "but I'm not here to fix the past. I'm here to build what's left." Silence filled the room, not the cold silence of their divorce, but the heavy, healing kind. That night, Emma couldn't sleep. She walked down the hall and found Ethan asleep in the waiting area, Lily curled up on his chest, his suit jacket draped over her like a blanket. For the first time, she saw the father, not the CEO. The man who'd lost everything and still showed up every morning with the same promise in his eyes. "I won't leave this time." Her heart ached, but not from anger, from the weight of everything they could have been. Weeks later, Emma was discharged. Ethan drove them home. Her small apartment filled with the scent of paint and crayons. On the wall, Lily's drawings told their story, a broken family slowly finding its way back. As Emma unpacked her things, Ethan lingered near the door. "You don't have to decide anything now," he said, "but I want to be here, not just for Lily, for you too. However, you'll have me." She turned, searching his face. "You think love can just start again?" He smiled faintly. "No, but maybe it never ended." Tears welled in her eyes. "Ethan." Before she could say more, Lily ran between them, holding a small paper heart. "Look, I made this for both of you," she said proudly. On it, written in her uneven handwriting, were 3 words: "We're a family." Emma's voice broke. "Lily," the little girl looked up innocently. "Mommy said families stay together when they love each other." Ethan crouched beside her, eyes glistening. "Your mommy's right," he whispered. For a long moment, the room was silent except for Lily's quiet humming. Then Emma reached out slowly, uncertainly, and placed her hand over Ethan's. It wasn't a grand gesture. It was simple, human, real, and in that quiet touch, forgiveness bloomed, not loud or dramatic, but soft, like morning light after a long storm. Months later, the tabloids had new headlines. Millionaire CEO steps down temporarily, seen spending time with family. Ethan didn't care. For the first time, success wasn't measured in numbers or power. It was the laughter in his living room, the sound of Lily's feet on the floor, and the sight of Emma painting again with color and peace in her eyes. One evening, as the sun melted into gold, Ethan watched Emma reading to Lily on the couch. He walked over, sitting beside them quietly. Emma looked up, smiling faintly. "You're late." "Meetings," he said, kissing Lily's forehead. "She made me promise I wouldn't miss story time." Lily giggled. "Daddy's learning." Emma's laughter filled the room, soft, genuine. Ethan reached for her hand. She didn't pull away. "Thank you," he whispered. "For what?" she asked. "For giving me a chance to be the man I should have been." She looked at him, tears shimmering but no longer from pain. "Just don't stop trying." He nodded. "Never again." Outside, the night deepened, but inside, light returned. And for the first time since signing those papers, Ethan Hale wasn't haunted by what he lost. He was finally living what he almost destroyed. Some stories don't end. When love breaks, they begin again when pride finally fades. Ethan thought success meant never needing anyone, but fate reminded him that true wealth isn't in what you earn, it's in who waits for you when you fall. Emma forgave not because it was easy, but because love, in its purest form, deserves a second chance. And Lily, the child of 2 broken hearts, became the bridge that healed them both. If this story touched your heart, like, comment, and share it with someone who still believes in second chances. Subscribe for more emotional stories where love returns, not perfect, but real. Tell us, would you forgive the one who once walked away, if they came back changed?